Ashish Saxena, and I welcome you to the next part of this lecture series, which is on UiPath. And today we are going to learn how we can install UiPath Studio. But before starting the installation, let us discuss few things about UiPath platform. And after that, we will continue with the installation of UiPath Community Edition. So first of all, the components of if we want to know what all components are present in UiPath platform, so UiPath platform is constituted of three components. Very first component is Studio, which can be termed as the workflow designer. Second component of UiPath tool is Orchestrator, which is something like a server and the robot management platform. Third is the robot, the executing agent, and the agent which executes the instructions. So these are the three main important components of UiPath platform. Let us discuss these three components one by one. First of all, let's start with Studio. So Studio helps you to design automation workflow visually, quickly, with only basic programming knowledge. So if you are using UiPath for RPA development, then Studio will be the most important thing and most frequently used thing, or you will be working most of the time on this particular platform or user interface called UiPath Studio. Studio is where the automated processes are built in a visual way using the built-in recorder, drag and drop activities, and best practice templates. So we will see this platform, this Studio platform, in the coming sessions and the coming series once we are done with the installation. But today, let us understand what all things are present in UiPath Community Edition. So the second component, main component of UiPath is UiPath Orchestrator. So Orchestrator is like a server application. It is accessed via browser, through which the robotic workforce is controlled, managed, and monitored. Let us talk few more things about Orchestrator. The connection with the robot are created and maintained, and the robot are grouped using this Orchestrator. The automated processes are distributed as tasks to the robot management. This is also the work of Orchestrator. The execution of task is logged and kept track of monitoring. So if we briefly talk about the functions of Orchestrator, then control, management, and monitoring are three main important functions of Orchestrator. Orchestrator also lets you control, manage, and monitor the robots. It is also the place where the libraries, reusable components, assets, and processes used by robots are stored. Now, the third component of UiPath is the robot. It executes the workflow and instructions sent locally via Orchestrator. So there are two types of robot, as you can see on my screen. Also, if you remember, we have discussed these two types in the introduction to RPA series, and where we have discussed about two types of robot, front office robot and back office robots. Also, we have learned these terms, attended and unattended robots. So what is an attended robot? Attended robot is triggered by user events and operates alongside a human on the same workstation. So attended robots need human to work upon it, and whatever the actions which are triggered by human are taken as an input by the robot, and that robot is called attended robot. Another type of robot is unattended robot, which run unattended in virtual environments and can automate any number of processes. So in this robot, we do not require human intervention. Automatically, these robots can work or run on virtual environments and can automate any number of processes. So these are the two types of robots. Now let us discuss the UiPath architecture. So UiPath architecture is divided into three layers, or we can call this is three-layer architecture of UiPath. First layer is persistency layer, where the database is stored. Second layer is server layer, where the UiPath orchestrator resides. And third layer, the client layer, where these three components, UiPath Studio, Executor, or what we call bot runner, and third is UiPath agent, and we call it robot. These three components are present in the client layer. So let us discuss these layers one by one. Suppose if a bot developer is working or RPA developer is working, so RPA developer will work with UiPath Studio, and with the help of agent, UiPath agent or robot, it will execute their workflows, or it will execute their bots. What is executor then? Executor is something, executor is a component, or executor is a part of this tool where we only have rights to execute the code which is designed in UiPath Studio. So usually on this particular component, usually SME or subject matter experts work, and they also need the help from UiPath agent or robots. All right. After this layer, the next layer is server layer. This server layer is constituted of UiPath Orchestrator. So UiPath Orchestrator provides these three important services of monitoring, controlling, and managing to all these three components which are working in client layer. Third layer is database layer or persistency layer, where all the database related to packages, related to the workflow which we have created, related to each and everything will reside on this third layer. So these are the three components of UiPath tool. Moving ahead, what are the orchestrator's capabilities? So we talk about orchestrator's capabilities. First capability of UiPath Orchestrator is provisioning. In provisioning, it creates and maintains the connections with the robot. Second capability is deployment, ensures the delivery of workflow for execution either immediately or using schedules. Third is configuration. It enables the creation, configuration, and maintenance of the group of robots and execution of the task. Next is queues. The data that needs to be processed is broken down to invisible operations called transactions. Queues can store any number of transactions, and they facilitate their distribution, execution, and monitoring. Next is monitoring. It keeps track of robot identification data and maintains the user permission. Next is logging. Stores and indexes the logs to an SQL database and or Elasticsearch. Next component is interconnectivity. Acts as centralized point of communication for third-party solution or applications, and can be used for storing activities packages, libraries, and assets like credentials. So we are going to discuss these components when we are ready with the Orchestrator login. And once we install the UiPath Studio and Orchestrator, then we will discussing these points one by one in detail. What are the benefits of Orchestrator? So workflow can be executed on the local machine to perform simple tasks. In business context, though all the capabilities are listed in previous section are needed for effectively managing a large number of robots that have to be executed numerous tasks. All these capabilities translate into tangible benefits such as accessibility and version control, transactional processing, efficient planning and execution, securely storing assets, and monitoring. Concepts related to Orchestrator. So we have already read about Robot. So Robot is UiPath execution agent that enables you to run workflows built in Studio. It can be of several types, as you have seen in the next lecture. We have already discussed the type of robots. Talking about environment, an environment is a group of robots configured in Orchestrator. Processes can be allocated to individual robot, but it's more effective to allocate them to environments. A robot can be part of more than one environment, provided they are in same service. Organization unit. In general, it is an entity in Orchestrator that corresponds to a business unit. Same Orchestrator instance can have multiple organization units configured, each of them having separate robots, environments, queues, assets, and so on. The community edition plan won't allow the creation of other organization units than the default one created. So as we are going to use community edition, so we will have some limitations on that tool that we will be discussing later. Next is package. A project developed, we have next thing, very important term here is package. A project developed in UiPath Studio that is published on Orchestrator, multiple version of same project can be stored and used. Process. It is a package that has been allocated to certain environment. What is job? A job is a process that has been sent for execution to some or of the robots in the environment. Last term is schedule, a process that is configured for an execution that is not immediate but according to a schedule. Multiple configurations are possible when it comes to schedules. Next important term is asset. An asset is a piece of data stored in Orchestrator for the use of robots. There are four types of assets: text, bool or boolean, integer, and credential. So we can have these four types of assets in Orchestrator, where text stores strings or characters, boolean stores true, false, yes, no, 0, 1, and integer stores any whole number, and where credential stores the username and passwords such as login ID or login details for any ERP system. Next, we have queue. A queue is a sequence of transactions that is built in Orchestrator and then used to dispatch to robots for processing. Now let us discuss the different editions of UiPath tool. As we all know that we are going to use a community edition or the free edition of this tool for our demonstration purpose. But along with community edition, what all versions are available in UiPath? Let us discuss all those versions. The very first version which is available in UiPath is community edition. It is always free. Upgrade to enterprise anytime. You can upgrade it to enterprise anytime. You will get 2 studios for designing automation. It will provide you 3 robots, cloud hosted or orchestrator. Only you will be able to use forum only support, and you will get access to UiPath Academy. So these are the features which are provided by Community Edition, or which you will get once you install Community Edition. Next is Enterprise Server Edition. So it provides you on-premise enterprise deployments for large businesses. That means you will be getting a server in your location, in your office location, or in your work premises. You will get unlimited studios for designing automation. Also, you will get unlimited robots, on-premises orchestrator, premium support, scale as you grow, self-managed updates, and UiPath official training partners. Third version or third edition is Enterprise Cloud Edition. So cloud enterprise deployment for businesses of any size, unlimited studios and robots for designing automation. So there is a minute difference between cloud edition and server edition. The difference is that the orchestrator in server edition is in-premise and orchestrator in cloud edition is on cloud. This is the main difference between cloud edition and server edition. These two editions are paid edition, and if you want to install these editions, you have to pay for. Now let's start with UiPath installation. I hope you are ready with your machine. So it's always recommended you have Windows 10 with 8 GB of RAM and at least 20 to 30 GB of space in your machine with i5 processor. Also, for hands-on, we need some of the software, additional softwares. We need a browser, Chrome browser, Google Chrome browser we need for web automation. For Excel automation, we need MS Office installed on your machine, preferably MS Office 10 version. And along with that, we need Notepad and a PDF reader on your machine installed so that we can practice PDF automation and Excel automation and some text automation also. All right, so guys, let's start with our installation. So the very first step of installation is you have to type this URL in your browser. You can use any browser to type this URL. So the URL which you have to type is www.uipath.com/fr/start-trial. So once you type that URL, you will be redirected to this page. But on this page, you will observe that some other language text is there. So for that, for changing the language, on bottom right corner of your screen, you will see this globe icon and drop down list. So once you click there, you'll find English, and once you click English, the text will be converted into English. Now I'll demonstrate this using Google account. So I'll click sign up with Google. So I'll sign to my Google account. It will ask me organization name. Once you click continue, you will be redirected to next page. All right, so now we are logged into the UiPath Automation Cloud, and this is a place from where we can download UiPath Studio. So we are going to discuss this interface or this web application afterwards. But right now, I'll ask you to install UiPath Studio. So to install UiPath Studio, you have to click on this button, which is on the top pane of your screen. This is the button named as Download UiPath Studio. So once you click on this Download UiPath Studio, a file will start downloading. This is 369 MB file, which will take some time to get downloaded. And after it is downloaded, we can start with the installation. So till the time the file is getting downloaded, I'll again take you to the presentation so that we can discuss what all steps comes after the installation is done. So we have started with this page. After filling the information, we have moved on this page. So we have clicked on Download Studio from Orchestrator Cloud Environment. And once we are done with that, and once the exe file is downloaded on our machine, we have to go to that folder and we have to right click on it and we have to say run as administrator, or we can execute that file or run that file on our machine to install the UiPath Studio. So once you click that, this window will appear in front of you, which will ask you, welcome to Studio, and which will ask you, you need to watch the tutorials, or you can skip and continue with the next step. So I recommend you continue with the next step. And after that, this window will come, which will ask you that which particular license you want. So we are starting with Community Edition. So we are starting with Community Edition. That is why we will click on this option, which is Community Edition, Start Free, no license required. Once we click on that, these two options will come, UiPath Studio Pro Community and UiPath Studio Community. We will click on UiPath Studio Pro Community because we will be using this particular platform for our development or RPA development. Once you click that, you will see two options. Again, two options will come up in front of you. Here you have to click preview option instead of stable option. So this preview option will be getting the automatic updates so that you can get the new features while using this particular tool. Once you click preview, this screen will come where you will say continue. Once you say continue, you are ready with the installation, and after that you can start using UiPath. So you have installed the UiPath Community Edition successfully. Now you are ready to bring your first automation. So guys, now we are done with the installation, and we will learn in next video of this video lecture series how we can use the UiPath Studio for our automation journey. Thank you for watching this video.